All right, let's talk about one of the most familiar faces you'll find in local communities, Tǔ Dì Gōng. He's known as the gentle guardian of the land, and he's pretty much everywhere.
Seriously, think about it for a sec. You're walking down the street, maybe past a market or even an office building, and you see that small shrine with a kind elderly figure inside. Yep, that's him, and there's a really warm and wonderful story behind that familiar face.
Okay, so let's really get into it. Who exactly is this figure we see so often? Because he is so much more than just a statue on the corner of a street. So his formal official title is Fu De Zheng Shen, which means the god of fortune and virtue. But most people just call him Tǔ Dì Gōng, the lord of the land. His whole vibe isn't about being some distant, all-powerful god. Nope. He's more like an accessible, warm-hearted elder. Basically, a grandpa looking out for the peace and prosperity of his little corner of the world.
So where did this gentle spirit even come from? Well, this is where his backstory gets really fascinating. Because it's not just one story, it's actually a blend of two very different, very powerful origin stories.
Check this out. On one hand, you have this idea of him as a primordial spirit, almost like a land manager sent by Mother Earth herself to make sure the soil was rich and the harvests were good. This connects him way back to ancient nature worship. But then there's this other, very human story about a man named Chang Fu De. He was a real tax official way back in the Zhao dynasty who was just so incredibly kind and fair that everyone he governed absolutely loved him. After he died, they missed him so much that they started to worship him, hoping he'd continue to watch over them.
And that's the magic, right? Tǔ Dì Gōng is both. He's the nurturing, life-giving power of the earth itself, but he's also the best of what humans can be, kind, honest, and selfless. It's this beautiful mix that makes him so approachable and so beloved. Okay, now let's switch gears and talk about something a lot of people connect with him: wealth and good fortune. How does the guardian of the land also end up being a god of prosperity?
Well, it all boils down to this one core belief, captured perfectly in the saying, 有土斯有盖. See, in an agricultural society, land was everything. It was the source of all wealth. If you had land, you had food, you had a home, you had security. So as the guy in charge of the land, Tǔ Dì Gōng naturally became the guardian of the wealth that comes from it. Make sense, right?
But, and this is a really important distinction, we're not talking about a sudden lottery win here. People don't pray to Tǔ Dì Gōng to get rich quick. They pray for stable, steady, earned success. He's the patron saint of the hard worker, the small business owner, the person putting in the hours. He's there to help make sure your effort pays off, with real, lasting rewards.
So, if you're thinking of visiting, when's the best time to go? Well, think of the 2nd and 16th of every lunar month as your regular check-ins. A lot of business owners will stop by on these days for a blessing. But the big one, the main event, is the 2nd day of the 2nd lunar month. That's his birthday. It's a festival called Toya, and it's considered an extra lucky time to pray for good fortune for the whole year.
Okay, so you're ready to pay him a visit. How do you actually do it? Let's go over a few practical tips so you can connect with him in a way that's respectful and, really sincere.
First things first, offerings. He's not a picky grandpa, but a thoughtful gift goes a long way, especially since many of them have these really clever symbolic meanings. Like, you bring mochi because it's sticky, hoping that good fortune and good clients will stick to you. Peanuts are for a long career, oranges are a classic for great fortune, and that fluffy steamed cake, fa gao, represents prosperity and, literally, rising up.
And when you pray, it helps to have a little structure. First, just introduce yourself. Tell him your name, where you live, so he knows who's dropping by. Second, and this is the really important part, tell him about your efforts. Don't just ask for a handout. Explain the work you're putting in and the specific hurdles you're facing. Ask for wisdom, for opportunity. Third, some temples let you ask for a money mother, which is a blessed coin you can keep in your wallet to attract good fortune. And last but not least, promise to give back. Make a commitment to do some good in the world when your wishes come through.
And honestly, the most crucial thing to remember is this. Treat it like you're talking to a wise, respected grandparent. It's a conversation, not a transaction. You're not placing an order, you're sharing your story, your struggles, and your hopes. That sincerity, that honesty about your own hard work, that's what really counts.
So let's zoom out a bit. When you put all the pieces together, his origins, his role, how people connect with him, what's the real essence of Tǔ Dì Gōng? What's he all about? I think this just says it perfectly. Tǔ Dì Gōng's power is gentle, it's supportive. He's not here to perform some huge dramatic miracle or totally change your destiny. His blessing is in the small stuff, helping you get over those little annoying obstacles, giving you a bit of clarity when you're stuck, and just making your journey a little smoother, a little more peaceful, so that all of your hard work can finally shine.
He's the ever-present, kind, and steady grandfather of the neighborhood, just quietly looking out for everyone. So the next time you walk by that familiar smiling statue, maybe you'll see him a little differently. Not just as a piece of the scenery, but as a warm invitation to connect. Maybe you'll even stop and say hello.